Human resource management entails planning, implementing, and managing recruitment as well as selection, training, career, and organizational development initiatives within an organization. The goal of HRM is to maximize the productivity of an organization by optimizing the effectiveness of its employees while simultaneously improving the work life of employees and treating employees as valuable resources. Consequently, HRM encompasses efforts to promote personal development, employee satisfaction, and compliance with employment-related laws. Now, our group mates will be discussing about the planning for and recruiting human resources, selecting employees and placing them in jobs, and training employees.
Good day. The first topic that we will be discussing about is planning for and recruiting human resources. Under this topic, we will be able to know on firstly, how to plan for human resources needed to carry out the organization's strategy. Secondly, determine the labor demand for workers in various job categories. Third, summarize the advantages and disadvantages of ways to eliminate a labor surplus and avoid a labor shortage. Fourth, describe recruitment policies organizations use to make job vacancies more attractive. Fifth, list and compare sources of job applicants. And lastly, to describe the recruiter's role in the recruitment process, including limits and opportunities. Implementation and evaluation. Before we discuss further of this chart, let me just define first what is forecasting. Okay, so forecasting attempts to determine the supply and demands for various types of human resources to predict areas within the organization where there will be labor shortages or surpluses. There are three major steps to forecasting. First, forecasting the demand for labor. Second, determining labor supply. And lastly, determining labor surplus or shortage. Okay, so after all the planning process that we have tackled, the next step is recruiting human resource. Okay, so the role of human resource recruitment is to build a supply of potential new hires that the organization can draw on if the need arises. So what is the meaning of recruiting? It is any activity carried on by the organization with the primary purpose of identifying and attracting potential employees. Three aspects of recruiting as shown in the figure: personal policies, recruiter traits and behaviors, recruitment sources. Under these three are the characteristics of the vacancy itself and also the characteristic of the applicant. Another aspect of recruiting is the recruitment sources, which involves internal sources and external sources. first, let us define what is job posting. It is the process of communicating information about a job vacancy in a form of company bulletin boards, or maybe on employee publications, on corporate intranets, or anywhere else the organization communicates with employees. Okay, so another recruitment source is the external sources. Among these external sources were the direct applicants. They might also came from referrals, advertisements in newspapers and magazines, and also electronic recruiting. There are some also who came from public employment agencies, or maybe private employment agencies, and colleges and universities. Evaluating the quality of a source. Yield ratios. It is a ratio that expresses the percentage of applicants who successfully move from one stage of the recruitment and selection process to the next. By comparing the yield ratios of different recruitment sources, we can determine which source is the best or most efficient for the type of vacancies. For the cost per hire, we find the cost of using a particular recruitment source for a particular type of vacancy. Divide that cost by the number of people hired to fill that type of vacancy. A low cost per hire means that the recruitment source is efficient.